I'm going to call to order the Carver Conservation Commission meeting for Wednesday, November 4th, 2020. The order of business, the first item is appointments discussion. Joanna Layton and Joan Pierce, Recreation Lot, Picnic Island off Wenham Shores.
That's continued again till the 18th.
Okay. Next item of business, Cole property, dedication sign and bench in memory of Grumpy.
We were going to discuss that, informally, but they've actually filed a request for determination for that, which is on for the 18th. So we don't need to discuss it now.
Okay.
Yep.
This is going quickly.
Yes.
That's long.
Discussion and possible vote, Conservation Land Ad Hoc Committee. Dan and I are on the, and you are too, and Jim is on the Ad Hoc Conservation Land Ad Hoc Committee. And this is just a committee that has been put together to try to maintain the conservation land that we have now. And we've had 2 meetings thus far, and we've kind of discussed all the different properties that we have, and we want to start doing some kind of maintenance of the trails,
Yep.
et cetera, in the conservation land. So we decided at our last meeting last week that we would like to start on the Savory Avenue conservation
Oh, okay,
land
yep.
and widen those trails
Oh, good.
so that they're more passable. The north and middle trails are somewhat passable, single file. The southernmost trails are covered with down trees.
Yep.
So when we first voted on the Conservation Land Ad Hoc Committee, it was just to approve the committee being formed. So what we're looking for tonight is permission to start doing some clearing on the Savory Avenue property, and our intent is to do it this Saturday with 5 or 6 members of the ad hoc committee. And what we're trying to do is to create an area to use as an example of what we want to try to do everywhere else on the other conservation lands. And from our initial work this Saturday, start forming volunteer groups to go out and take care of the other trails. And
Savory, just a point, do you realize that, I'm going back a few years, Jim may remember, we purchased what they call the Billy Goat, it's in the garage, the DPW garage.
Yeah, John Woods has that.
Yes,
Yeah.
John has it.
Yep.
So it's ours to use if we
Get
should.
closer
Oh,
to you.
thank you, sorry. It's ours to use if we need it.
Yeah, that was
Was it
confirmed.
mentioned? Good.
Yeah, actually, there's a list of equipment that we'll have access to,
Perfect.
in addition to when we do get more larger volunteer teams through John Woods and some other agencies. We'll have actually some equipment training and things like that
Fantastic.
as well as safety protocols in place.
Beautiful.
okay, just wait for 1 second. I want to just want to find out exactly what I had put on. Oops. All right, there were four things that I wanted to just cover within this. One is the seeking permission to begin working to clear the paths. What equipment does conservation own that can be used? We've discussed that. Brooke, do you know if you have a copy of Dan Fortier's map book of Cedar Swamp?
I do. I have a lot of stuff. I have all the stuff from, all the people that they contacted that own the little lots. And I think we have,
We have a lot of files.
I have a bunch of stuff because we
do.
started to work on that. And then when Michael was here, because we were going to try to,
Right.
yeah.
Okay.
So I have a bunch of stuff on that.
Well, Sarah Hewins, who is the chair of the Land Conservation Ad Hoc, just wanted to make sure that we could get that
Yep.
when the time came for us to look at the
Yep,
Cedar
definitely,
Swamp.
yep.
And the final thing, and it's not the only thing I'd like to get a vote on tonight is whether we can start work on Saturday. At some point, I wanted to look into the availability of is there maintenance funding
Yeah.
available?
I think we can, I think, I'll check, but I think we can use some of the money that we get from, half the state, half the town fees. The general, is it the general fund that that goes into a general fund.
Goes to
So I think we can use that money as long as it's conservation, related.
All right, because we were basically
We have a
just
lot of-
talking about minimal things such as fuel for
Yeah.
the Gravely the
Yeah.
mower, water for volunteers, just, very low
Yeah.
cost things, but
Because-
that's not,
Check
that's
with
just,
Meg tomorrow. I
Yeah,
think that
because
there
we have a
is-
lot of money in that fund.
There's a conservation, like a maintenance
It's a
fund
maintenance fund, yeah.
that, I'm not sure what the restrictions are. If it's already conservation land, I assume we already have this.
yes.
So therefore, I believe that those funds can be expended for upkeep and maintenance of that property. So,
All right.
And whatever's related to that. So-
Well, a budget would be submitted for,
Yeah.
you know,
So,
for exactly what we needed, probably on a per project basis.
yeah.
So is that separate from the,
Yeah, it's a separate,
separate
it's
from
a
the-
separate account. Check with
Okay.
Meg tomorrow,
Okay.
and she'll tell you exactly where it's at. But I'm pretty sure that I don't even know how much is in it, but there's some money in it.
All right, so if I could have a motion to approve the ad hoc committee to start work on the Savory Avenue Conservation Land.
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All right, it's been moved and seconded that the Conservation Land Ad hoc Committee may begin working on the Savory Avenue Conservation Land to clear paths. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none? All right, approved.
It's gonna be 9 o'clock right on Saturday.
10.
10.
10 o'clock. All right, our first hearing is at 7:15? All right,
7:15, yeah.
so we can deal with the minutes right now.
A couple of changes, Mr. Chairman.
Go right ahead.
I would, I'll make a motion, we approve the 2 sets of minutes as written with the following changes. That the date of October 7th on the top sheet be changed to October 21st. Whether we call that the first part of the meeting or not, doesn't matter, but there was no meeting on the 7th, so that's just a clerical thing. The 21st meeting is clear in that it brings into what was on the agenda for the 7th, and it explains that it's a continuation of that meeting from the 7th. So I think we're okay. So it's just as written with that change to October 21st on that, striking October 7th.
All right, do I have a second?
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the 2 sets of minutes for October 21st with the change as noted by Mr. Germain. All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? None? Approved 5-0-0.
So did you see anything in the minutes at all? Because Mary Ann was concerned because remember, we couldn't hear very well in there, in the auditorium.
No, I
Okay,
think
so
it was
you got
fine.
everything. Okay,
They were good.
Brooke, I see that there's some Griffith Forest open space.
yeah, that was the thing that I brought up last time, and you wanted me to just give you some information on those parcels that they've,
Okay.
the Buzzards Bay has applied for a mini grant to get those two parcels, and also some CPC funding. So that's basically kind of what Buzzards Bay wrote up, and then that's a plan of the parcels. Oh, of this? You didn't get that? Oh, you did? Yeah, Joe must have forgotten.
Oh, there was a revision. You didn't get it? No, that was a revision. That's why it's in yellow.
Okay, so let me just,
Yep.
And the revision was posted on the website.
okay.
Jill said she sent it to me too. I didn't get it either. I had to get it off the
What
website.
did you say we just talked about? Because I don't see that.
It was the
Oh.
ad hoc committee.
No, the ad
No, the
hoc-
Griffith.
After the ad hoc, vote was done.
Oh, the
we
Griffith?
just start
Oh, we were
talking
just
about
killing
something.
some time. It was
Oh,
something
do I
that,
need to put it in the minutes then?
No, they
'Cause
just,
I-
you know,
Okay,
they were having a private meeting.
okay. I just want to make sure, okay. All right, so I have everything else.
okay,
Just
yeah.
the two
No,
things
that, I
in
had
the-
brought that up at the last meeting, then saved me one a little more
Yep,
information on
nope.
it.
All good, thank you. Sorry.
Brooke, can I ask a question on this information on the Griffith Forest?
Yep.
On the map? What is the Wildlands Trust area?
That's, conservation land that we have a CR already with Wildlands Trust.
Yeah.
Okay,
So the way I understand it is that these are gonna be, Wildlands Trust is still gonna be, you know, the sponsor, whatever they, you know, and they're still gonna be in the CR with us, but Buzzards Bay is also gonna be in it too. But it's part of the Wildlands Trust.
but is that part of the,
Yeah, yep,
that's part of the cost
yeah, that's part of the,
of acquiring?
right.
Okay,
The Wildlands Trust is like, you know, the same as Audubon is with us on the Cole property.
okay, all right. So
Yeah.
right now, is that 10 acres protected?
Yep, yep,
But who owns it right now?
we do. As far as I know. I think we
Not sure
do.
about that.
I think we
Boy,
do.
that's the land that's
With
in,
the-
that's behind Church Street.
Yes.
Yeah, that's still owned by that's still the Griffiths, I'm pretty sure, isn't it?
No, I think it passed to the town
Oh, wait,
with a
Did they give
restriction.
it to us?
I thought so.
well,
Did you give
the,
it to us or the Wildlands Trust?
right. It went to the Wildlands Trust, but, okay,
Yeah.
so, but the two that they're working on now, those are still owned by Griffith.
Yes.
So the
one
funding
on
is
Main
gonna-
Street and the one on Lake.
Right. The funding is gonna help, you know, pay the Griffiths for the property, but then it will be
All right.
protected. It's confusing.
Then my question is, why would the CPA fund would be applied to the cost of acquiring the 32 acres? Why would Carver buy property Carver already owns?
Well, because the Griffith still owns those,
But that's not what,
I didn't think you.
right? Yeah, I think
Well,
Griffith
Well, it might
still,
still be,
Times.
it might be in the control of the trust, and maybe we're buying out that end of it.
yeah, because it's,
Because this is only showing two pieces of interest. They're showing the one up on Indian and then the one on Lake.
right.
I'd like to know more about that, too.
right, but on okay.
Yeah, so the way I understand it, the Griffiths still own it, and the money's gonna buy it, pretty much, you know, buy it from them.
Oh,
Okay.
Conservation has the land acquisition fund, that we don't need to get into the CPA money unless it's gonna be reimbursed.
For some reason, when way Buzzards Bay did it, and the way I think it's under that mini grant, I think they have to get some CPC funding,
Okay.
as far as I understand, yeah.
Okay. Okay.
All right.
Of this, what approval are we, what areas are we approving on this?
It hasn't come in front of us yet. This was just preliminary information.
Okay.
Yeah, this was
Yeah.
just discussion.
And I don't think it may not come in front of us. It may strictly come in front of CPC.
Yeah, I probably really wouldn't need your approval, it's just, I just wanted to give you the information on the, you know, the mini grant that they were.
It says no projects are needed for the project to be accomplished, so I don't know if it needs approval or not.
Well,
No,
okay.
All right.
I mean, there are a couple of things, it looks like they buried the lead in a couple areas where they're talking about enlarging parking area around Sampson's Pond, but that might come under our purview, depending on what that is.
Yes, that certainly would, but that would be further down the road after it's acquired.
Okay.
All right, it is 7:15, so, new hearings, 104 Tremont Street. Notice is hereby given in accordance with the Massachusetts Wetlands Protection Act, MGL Chapter 131, Section 40, and the Carver Wetlands Protection Bylaw, that a public hearing will be held at 7:15 PM on Wednesday, November 4th, 2020, in Meeting Room 1 at the Carver Town Hall to hear the notice of intent submitted by Sincarfa Carver LLC for the proposed construction of a 7.5 megawatt DC ground-mounted solar photovoltaic development. The proposed solar development is within the 65 and 100-foot buffer zone to wetland resource area bordering vegetated wetlands, cranberry bogs, and within the 200-foot riverfront area associated with Crane Brook. The project will require a variance from the Carver Wetlands Protection Bylaw for the work within the 65-foot buffer. The project is located at 104 Tremont Street, Carver, Massachusetts, map 123, parcel 13, Carver, Massachusetts. All interested parties are invited to attend.
Good evening. Good evening. Hello. Nice to see some of you again, and nice to meet some new faces I didn't see this morning. My name is Annie Jung from Sincarfa Solar. I'll give you a brief introduction about Sincarfa Solar, our company, and the project itself. Thank you all, first of all, for having us on the agenda tonight. Sincarfa Solar, we are a developer, owner and operator of solar projects. We have projects really all over the U.S., but we have a pretty big portfolio here in Massachusetts. We've developed over 100 megawatts in Massachusetts, which is about 20 projects the size of the project that we'll be proposing today. So, that just means we have a lot of experience working with multiple various townships all across Massachusetts and various agencies, and working with a lot of different vendors to bring successful projects to fruition. I want to reemphasize the fact that Sincarfa is an owner and operator, which means that the business model is to, upon building the site, we keep them in-house and operate them in-house instead of selling them to somebody else. So if you have any issues or questions throughout the life cycle of the project, we'll be sticking around. You don't have to go fishing for new contact info or anything like that. That also...
I ask you if you could drop your mask.
Oh, okay.
Speech is a little garbled by the way.
I didn't want to be the guy that said that.
Yeah, thank you. Is this better?
Much, much.
That also means that we have a vested interest in making sure that the projects are built properly and that it's up to code, and we're complying with all the rules and regulations of the town, state agencies, and the federal agencies, because obviously as owners, we don't want to have any issues coming down the line while the project is operating 10, 20 years in the future. So a little background about the project itself here in Carver. We started working on this project over 2 years ago, so we're really excited to be at this point here at the permitting stage, because we've obviously spent a lot of time and resources to bring this project to this point. So as you all know, this is a solar project, and this is part of the Smart Solar Incentive Program in Massachusetts, which is a program to reduce greenhouse gas emissions from the electricity sector. And this project is definitely part of that. The solar arrays obviously don't produce any greenhouse gas emissions. We also have batteries, which will primarily charge from the solar arrays. And I think the greatest part about the batteries is that we'll be discharging them at peak hours. So instead of using natural gas power plants to supply power, we'll have clean energy on the grid. So again, I'm really excited to be working with you all to answer any questions. Please let me know, and I'll hand it off to Steve here from Wood Engineering to talk more details.
I have a question, if I may, Mr. Chairman.
Go right ahead.
You said that you have no intentions of selling this project off. Are you willing to commit to that? The reason I'm asking this question is because this is becoming a problem now, where people are coming in and getting permitted to put in projects and then selling the paper. So then the next company comes in and does something completely different. So it's a question I think it's going to be more prevalent in the future. It's going to be asked by several boards on what the future plan is. Are you just looking to get the permit so you can sell it off, permit it as a project and get out of Dodge? Or are you going to see the project through to its completion?
Yeah, I mean, at this point, we really have no intentions of selling it. Our investors, our equity investors all know that our intention as of this point is to keep the project in-house for 20-plus years.
Okay, works for me.
Are all the other projects that you've done and completed still within your ownership?
Almost all of them are, yes.
Almost.
Some of them, I believe, I would have to get back to you on the exact numbers. But the projects that are in construction at this point, we are actively managing them in-house at this point.
Okay.
The only reason I ask is 'cause like everything else, this entire process is always a learning process. Every bylaw is a new bylaw because something happened to create it. And that's where the bylaws come from. If somebody said, oops, we need to do this, we should have done this, so now we create that. And now this is a new issue that's coming up that would never have been thought of 1, 2, 3 years ago. No one would have thought that we wanted to do this. You'd think if you came in to get a permit for a project, you'd see it through its completion. And this has not been the case on several projects, and there's some issues that are beginning to arise from that, so.
Yeah, I
that's the reason-
understand.
That was the cause of my question.
Yeah, and we definitely make it a point to make sure that that's really, to communicate the fact that that's our business model, because we realize that, that has been the case throughout the state, and it's been causing a lot of issues. So we definitely want to make sure that we work with the towns to make sure there's no problems in the future.
Sorry, we're having issues. We need like a magnifying.
Otherwise, is everything separate? I was out there this morning, so I can. Thank you.
It's really not well defined, you know.
No. I will say that, that Brooke and Peg and Jim and I did do a site visit this morning. And the areas that they're planning to put the solar in are, for the most part, open already, existing, either with like field grass, mowed field grass. And the one that is furthest south, the largest one, is on an area that is currently being graded with earth removals knowledge and approval to make it a little bit flatter for the solar array. So there was, and everything was surrounded by either cranberry bogs or some structures.
Where's the river?
The river is right here, but this is already developed. So DEP had, they had a concern about the riverfront, but it's already
Yeah,
been
DEP,
developed.
yep, had comments that, because it was altering more than 5,000 square feet in the riverfront area, that they thought there should be a wildlife habitat, study done. But, typically that's in areas that aren't developed. So, I think, did you talk to them about that, or they comment? Yeah,
No, but the DEP file number issuance letter did state.
Right, had the comment, yeah.
Undeveloped riverfront area, a wildlife, the issuing authority, which would be you, may require a wildlife habitat evaluation. So as we saw this morning, it's all developed. It's either cranberry bog or road or area that's been used for sand excavation.
Right.
right.
Yeah, none of the area that we saw was like virgin forest. It was all developed in one manner or another.
Right.
Did you find, there was a question this morning about how many battery storage facilities there were going to be? You could find one and you were looking for another one, but you thought you might have been thinking
Yeah,
of something
so
else.
I did confirm that this afternoon. Like I said, I was actually, let me take this off. I was, in my head, confusing the battery containers with the transformers. So
Okay.
that area I pointed out, if you go to attachment B, I think it's the second page of attachment B where it has the array numbers.
But we just have a single page, it looks like.
Oh, okay, it's the northern,
That one that we had this morning.
Yeah, I see it. Yeah.
or maybe I can just
I
go
see
to
it.
the
Oh, okay. That little thing right there,
Yeah.
thanks.
The little
Yeah.
square.
batteries will just all be here.
Nice.
All possible.
And the power's all gonna get there underground?
No, we'll have wires overhead.
You're gonna have all the
underground.
telephone poles?
Yes, all three of these are going to be connected with over. And the one battery storage,
Which is here.
yeah.
Okay.
Any other questions?
No?
Dan, anything?
I was just curious if there was any type of containment foundation for the battery storage itself
Yeah, we'll
to
have.
mitigate any potential leakage from damage or.
Yeah, so if you, I don't know how, well, you can see it, but
Mhm.
there are 4 like long bars, where I'm pointing out here. Those will be the containers for the batteries. Yeah, they're not just exposed batteries.
No, of course, but
Yeah.
yeah.
So they'll be contained in actually.
Is it going to be on a pad? They'll be on a concrete pad there?
Yeah.
What's the manufacturer of the battery storage? Is it gonna be individual pods, or are we talking like a 40-foot container?
The battery storage?
Yes, the manufacturer we use is typically SunGrow Samsung. That hasn't been 100%.
It's like a modular unit, or are they a steel 40-foot building that was a shipping container turned into a battery storage device?
I'll have to get back to you on that. I'll have to talk to the engineers in-house to make sure I get you the correct information. So I'll write that down and follow up.
Have you been to planning yet? No?
You're on, I think, the 18th? or-
You're on for the...
Oh, yeah, for Carver, yeah.
You should probably want to get
18th.
that answer, because
Okay.
that's the question they're gonna ask.
Okay, thanks for that, up.
That might very well be the first question they ask.
They think of it.
Well, they'll do it from an aesthetic standpoint.
Right.
I'm asking it from a, should
Right.
we put bollards around it and stuff
Right.
like that, so.
Yeah.
You're requesting a variance to go within the 65 feet. Can you explain where you're going to be in the 65 feet and how much space you're going to use and what it's going to entail?
It looks like,
Yes.
It's not much.
Approximately 82,000 square feet of these arrays will be within that 65-foot buffer. So all of these arrays are surrounded by the cranberry bogs.
Correct, yes.
Which are jurisdictional wetlands. So they have the 100-foot buffer zone for the state and 65 for Carver. So we would like to use as much of that upland as we can for the solar arrays. Some of them, the perimeter fence and some of the edges of the arrays will protrude into that 65-foot zone. Buffer. But as I said earlier, all of these areas that the arrays will be built on have been previously disturbed. Trees have been removed, they've been graded and sand removed for use in the cranberry operation. So we don't see it as a pristine area adjacent to an undisturbed wetland. That's why we thought it was appropriate to request this waiver.
Okay.
and how much of the, within the 65, are you planning on asking a variance for? What do you say the square footage was?
82,000?
82,000 square feet, so 1.9 acres
Of wetlands?
of,
No.
Of project?
of 60, of project
Okay.
within 65 foot.
Okay.
The total area within the fenced, perimeter fence around each array altogether is about 30 acres.
Okay, but just, we're still not getting to the answer that I'm looking for, which is how much of the area is being, within the 65 are you looking to
80.
disturb?
Well, is it actually disturbed?
I'm not sure I understand the question. So
If we draw a line at the 65-foot mark, and you,
Whoops.
I didn't do that,
gravity,
and you want to go beyond the 65-foot mark, do you have a square footage on how much of that area will be on the intrusion side of that?
Is that the 82,000?
that's the.
That's the 82,000, within the 65.
82,000 square feet.
No
Within
wetland
the
alteration.
65.
Right, no
Yes.
wetland alteration, just the, from 65 from the bogs.
So that's a little, that's about 2 acres.
was my first question. He said I was wrong with that, so that's why I'm asking.
And that's primarily the arrays themselves, correct? That are intruding?
It's the arrays, the perimeter fence, and the area within that perimeter fence.
Is
So we
this-
total up all of the
Okay, all right,
areas
all right.
that's being disturbed.
This is ground mounted, or is this gonna be dual
Yes.
use?
Ground mounted with posts. Posts driven into the ground.
But it's not gonna be designated dual use, you're not gonna grow anything underneath it?
What are your plans for underneath it? Just let it go? Or are you planning any particular
Seating.
seating?
But no, nothing particular. Right now, they're all vegetated with grass. Some of them, like the area we saw being excavated, have some shrubs and small trees. But we'll keep it as grass. I don't know if you have a schedule for how often it'll be mowed.
Yeah, we normally mow them every quarter, or more as needed.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, the whole federal cranberry was manicured immaculately today. I mean, it was almost like a golf course. Okay. All right, so, let's close the hearing, then we'll hear from, we close it first, then hear from the butters?
We can't, if we close it.
Okay,
we can't.
all right. So are there people in the audience who would like to ask any questions or speak regarding this project? Any abutters?
Now we can close the hearing.
All right,
Move to
Okay.
Close the hearing?
all right, it's been moved to close the hearing. Do we have a second? All right, it's been moved and seconded to
Define the DEP number.
close the hearing on 104 Tremont Street, DEP SE 126-611. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, it's approved unanimously. The next up is to approve the NOI, and then we'll get to the variance.
Make a motion, we approve the NOI for 104 Tremont Street,
Do I hear a second?
SC 126-611.
All right, it's been approved, it's been moved and seconded to approve the NOI for 104 Tremont Street, DEP SE 126-611. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? None. And finally, I'll accept a motion to grant the variance for work within the 65-foot buffer zone for 104 Tremont Street, DEP SE 126-611, with conditions as given by the conservation agent,
As drawn.
and on the as-drawn plan submitted.
We have a big as-drawn, a big as-drawn?
Well, we have separate, sheets from each of
Are
the,
they
showing each of
defining the
them.
wetlands? Do we have are they in color and so forth as what we require so we
Yeah,
can?
yeah.
Because I don't want us trying to I don't want us trying to enforce this. I
No,
want
no,
us
no.
to have a
The,
big drawing.
Yes,
There's this one, which is page 2, which has the,
Yeah, but
That's
that
colored.
doesn't,
but do you have this big?
I do have big ones.
much rather have something you can actually read.
Okay.
I got there's that one there that you have.
But this isn't,
This doesn't have the
doesn't
color.
Yeah,
have the
color.
coloring.
Oh, all right. I think I requested actually colored ones, small ones, so that I didn't have the pencil.
Well, we're gonna need,
We can get a big one.
we're gonna need a big one that's colored.
Okay,
All right.
yeah.
So I'd put that in as part of this,
Okay.
Order of
this
conditions.
motion.
You can do
We'll
that.
hinge on that.
Yes, I believe you do have the.
Do I have one that's colored?
It's colored, yes. So this is a print of what I emailed to you a week or two ago.
Oh,
On
all
your
right.
request, Brooke. And it does have the colored 100-foot and 65-foot
Okay.
offsets.
Okay.
And it also shows the delineated wetlands.
I don't have the big one.
Could you tell me the date on that plan?
This is funny.
And if that's a revision?
It's October 5th, 2020.
Okay, October 5th, 2020. So I'd like that to be part of the motion.
Okay,
And since you said all that stuff, I'll so move.
all right, it's been moved. Do I have a second?
Second?
All right, it's been moved and seconded.
Question,
Yes.
sorry. On this southern part that rides along this brook, has there been any any effort to shift the array further north? Because we're talking about doing a variance based on, a variance is based on there being, us giving them a variance based on there being no other options in terms of developing the area. And it seems that there's a,
Well, I don't understand how you'd move it. Move it where?
I don't know, I just know that, it,
It would go into the bogs.
You'd be in the bogs.
Yeah, Dan, it's just, it's laid out
Who
just to
wants to
fit in
do
the
this?
areas
This
that are
one?
not bog.
Where?
Right.
yeah, no, I'm trying to, maybe I need to get some specs, but I'm just trying to, on the, where the markings are for the 65 and the 100 and the river, I'm just having a little trouble making this out, so. I'll,
Anything. That's the 100, this is the 200.
Right.
This is outside.
I mean, I think each of the arrays is within 65.
Yeah, they are.
And the bogs that they're near.
Right, each array has, or each,
So you have to shrink.
some of the
your-
arrays have
Right.
a footprint on the 65 foot. But
Right.
there are also areas that are outside the 65 foot that are not covered. They're, you know,
Yep.
Right.
It's not a complete coverage. There are breaks in the arrays, and also there's spacing out for the
Yeah, like-
question I asked today.
Down here?
Well, even here, you know, those are farther apart
Yep.
than these are, and
Yep.
that's based on the sun angle, because I asked that question today,
Mm.
because that's on the
That's right, 'cause the
downslope of a
space
hill,
different, yeah.
away from the sun, so they can't be as close. So we're kind of gaining back a little bit, if you can look at it that way. You understand? Do you
No,
get that?
I get it. I'm gonna, actually abstain from this vote just because I wasn't on the site walk and I'm not clear on a couple things.
Okay.
And
All right,
I
do you
know,
want to ask questions?
well, I know that there's been development here before, but that, with a lot of areas in this town, there's been development probably in past years where there shouldn't have been development in the first place. And so I guess I'm just curious
Well,
to.
The area that you're speaking about now, right now, is being excavated with approval of the Earth Removal Committee. And that excavation is being done to level the ground, to allow for this, a flatter terrain for this. So it's not as though the land that's there now is pristine and untouched.
Okay.
And then the rest
And
is
it's
bog.
virtually the entire area that you see in that lower southern array. There's a lot of work going on there.
Okay.
And then the whole rest of the property is bog.
The rest of the property is
Yeah.
all grass already, grass
Grass
and
then-
telephone
and then
poles.
bogs.
I'm actually getting a better look at it on this Google Earth than I am on this, so I got you. I see what you're saying now. Okay.
All right?
You unabstaining?
I'm
We haven't had
unabstaining.
we
Don't
haven't
make
had
me,
a-
don't make me say that 10 times fast. Yeah.
All right, did we get a second on the variance?
Peg second.
All right, Peg seconded. All right, so it's been moved and seconded to grant the variance on SE 126-611 with conditions as set forth by the conservation agent and based on the drawings submitted that were prepared on October 5th, 2020. All those in favor say
Aye.
Aye.
All right.
any opposed? Hearing none. Peg, do you want to go through the order of conditions? Are there the conditions for this?
I didn't have a whole lot of special conditions. The erosion controls, we'll have. Trying to think of what else we would have. Probably not a whole lot of special conditions.
Okay, so
Think
just
so.
standard,
Yep.
standard boilerplate.
Yep.
Okay,
There you go.
I think we're done.
All right, thank you very much.
You want to?
Thank you.
No, I
You
saved
okay?
that for later.
Okay,
Okey-doke,
deal. All right.
okey-doke.
Next up, our continued hearings.
Which, it's continued, but we actually never really read it.
We
so-
never read it.
Because, you know what I mean, because it was
I'm
supposed to
aware
be
of that.
on, and then, yeah.
I'm
the
aware of that.
whole last agenda.
so I will read it. All right. Fremont Street, is there an address?
307.
It's 307, yeah.
307?
I didn't have it, it wasn't on the agenda, but.
All right, so 307 Tremont Street, NOI DEP SE 126-608. Notice is hereby given in accordance with the Massachusetts Wetlands Protection Act, MGL, Chapter 131, Section 40, and the Carver Wetlands Protection Bylaw, that a public hearing will be held at 7:15 on Wednesday, October 21st. Of course, that was continued to tonight in Meeting Room 1 at the Carver Town Hall to hear the notice of intent submitted on behalf of Capeway Cannabis for the use of the existing developed site for the retail dispensary with associated access, parking, and stormwater measures. The existing site and proposed new work is located within the 100-foot buffer zone and the 65-foot buffer protected under the Carver Wetlands Protection Bylaw from a bordering vegetated wetland associated with Crane Brook. The work will require a variance from the Carver Wetlands Protection Bylaw, Section 9.2.1.3/3, which will allow for the designation of parking spaces, stormwater measures, and landscaping. All right. And once again, Peg and Jim and Brooke and I did go to visit this site today.
The church, right?
It's the church.
Mr. Chairman, my name's Tom Pazurski from Merrill Engineers. I'm the applicant's representative. We have Attorney Ed Angley here, and we have the Howes here, who are also the applicants for the facility. The property is located at 307 Fremont Street. It's an existing developed site, and what we're looking to do is redevelop it and purpose it for a retail dispensary. The wetland resource areas which are present on site consist of a bordering vegetated wetland, bordering land subject to flooding, which is off-site. If you can look over here, you will see that there's the wetland over here off-site. We also have a pond out back here. There is a riverfront area we located over here. You can see we have it all color-coded on the plans. You have a full set of colored plans there in accordance with the required regulations. ECR Environmental completed the delineations, and we located and put them on the surveyed plan that you see before you now. What we're doing also is when the project's done, we're going to have less pavement than there's now. We're planning on extensive natural plantings there. We're planning on what I like to call is a country drainage system. DEP calls it a low-impact drainage system. The stormwater management system, I respectfully submit, you'll find is compliant with the town of Carver requirements. Everything that we did is in full compliance with that, and also the DEP stormwater regulations, all 10 standards. The stormwater system we're basically proposing, we did soil exams and all of the stormwater components that you see in front of you. There was no issues with groundwater. We do have some issues with fill, and we've called that to be taken out and refilled with clean sand. The system consists of a pea stone diaphragm that overflows into a grass swale, then a sediment trap, and then into 2 adjacent rain gardens. And we have outlet control structures on each one of those to control the required volumes for the water quality treatments. And because we're taking and removing some of the asphalt out there, you won't see any increase in stormwater peak rates of discharge into the adjacent resource areas. But what you will see is you'll see a much better quality of stormwater that's now running into the site, off of the site, because right now there are no stormwater quality controls. The other amenity that we did is we segregated the clean roof runoff, and we're putting those in large leaching catch basins so it can recharge into the ground. And just briefly, the 10 tenets of the Stormwater Act, there's no untreated stormwater that's going to be discharged from site. The peak rates are attenuated, as I explained. Required recharge volume for this site is 944 cubic feet. We're providing 5,461 cubic feet of recharge volume. TSS removal, as you know, it's 80% requirement. These nice country drainage systems is going to remove 93 to 96 TSS. It also, because we're putting the rain gardens in there, it helps attenuate nitrogen removal and everything else that causes algae in the wetlands. So it's a very good thing. It's a very easy system to maintain as well. It is not a land use with higher potential pollutant load. It is not located in a critical area. Redevelopment, the requirement is for us to redevelop the site to the maximum extent practicable to comply with the regulation, and I think we've done that. Construction period pollution prevention plans. In the set there, you'll see that we are proposing the installation of sedimentation controls, a silt sock around the entire perimeter, and we've accounted for if they need to do any dewatering operations, but it's highly unanticipated because they don't really have an issue with groundwater out here. It's down about 10 feet further down below. We have a long-term O&M plan and budget that we've incorporated into the program so that the property owner can clearly see what he needs to plan for, how often does he need to inspect it, what he needs to do, and what he has to hire people to do to clean the facility out. All of that follows DEP's guideline in the handbook for taking care of those facilities. And the owner applicant has also provided an illicit discharge statement which certifies there will be no illicit discharges from the site. I'll be happy to address any questions you might have.
You had indicated that there was some fill that you had to remove that wasn't good quality right now.
It's got bricks, it's got sand, it's got silt, it's got roots and loam. There's nothing that I saw. I did the soil examinations. There's nothing that I saw that it's contaminated. It's just, concrete blocks and bricks, and it's typical. When they get done with a project, they use whatever's left over to grade off the back perimeters of the site. So we'll pull that
Is
up.
that concentrated in one area, or is it kind of general?
It's in a couple areas
Okay.
around the back left of the buildings.
Quick question.
Go right ahead.
Just out of curiosity, is the mobile home going to remain there, or is that going to be removed?
It's not going to be a home moving forward, but it'll be
Okay.
used as probably as an office space.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
It's a modular.
Yeah,
modular.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a foundation.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's got a
Yeah.
foundation.
yeah, cinder block foundation.
Yeah, we figured it would be an
That
office.
came in a couple of trucks, but yeah, it's a foundation. You're gonna, I guess I'm confused. On this third page in on the big set, I'm looking at what looks like shaded-in parking spaces where the existing septic system is, right in front of the house. What am I looking at there?
I think
Shows
that's,
arrows.
Okay, yep, that's a good point. Thank you for pointing that out.
It looked like parking spaces. so-
Okay, if we need additional parking, which we don't think we do, they typically ask questions that really are more towards the planning board side. What do you need for parking? What's the traffic? We comply with the parking we need, but those dashed-in spaces there are actually H20 impervious grass pavers that'll be sloped towards the parking lot system. So then it will get treated if the runoff comes off of that, but it's gonna have a membrane down on it and gravel, et cetera. It's a very passive system. You won't even, if we don't need it, we're not gonna build it, but we want a permit to have it there, and if we do put it in, it can be driven on.
But you'd have it, you'd be driving on top of the septic system?
The septic system itself, right there, in that point, we'd have to change out the D blocks and make that an H20 D blocks, but the rest of it should be fine.
and it's outside the 100 feet as well.
It still is on top of septic.
It's a good question.
No, I get it.
So then within the 100 is going to be asphalt? This entire parking lot's going to be asphalt paved
It already is.
It is
It already is.
already.
all the way down to that?
Yep.
Yeah, we're not going any closer.
Nothing.
The footprint's the same.
Yep,
Yeah.
So where the dumpster is now,
that's paved.
And that's gonna become landscaping where the dumpster is now.
Yeah, actually, I think if you look on,
it might be on schedule here for an okey-dokey, you never know.
It only
I
comes from
think if you
him.
look on sheet C3-1. It's probably this way. I think that's,
Yeah,
current,
I see the dumpster.
yeah, and see that, and that's within the paved area.
Yep.
So this is current.
Yeah,
Remember you came before us to have that trailer?
Yeah.
Yeah, put the trailer in,
And the
the
steps
clothes
in
and
the back.
stuff, yeah.
right.
I've been in that parking lot a dozen times. You think I can remember?
And if you've noticed, the parking lot is seen better times.
Yeah.
So it is gonna be resurfaced and make sure that it sheds into the treatment system.
Are you gonna pull what's there now out?
So, and remove it off-site.
All right.
I'm good.
Anyone else?
Anybody else want to look at this big plan, which is so much easier to read?
Yeah, I can appreciate that too.
Like, you don't like my tiny
Sorry.
plans. I like the
Sorry,
little.
we get these microscopic plans here. Next time I'll bring my big magnifying glass.
And,
Did we just arrange to just get one large set of plans, or,
No, but you're welcome to these.
no, but, I,
I always think the smaller ones are easier to pass around, because sometimes we're clunking around with the big ones.
that's true, but when there's so much detail on them,
But there's so much detail.
yeah, they're really hard to read.
These are really the
All
way.
right, I'll ask you to-
I did provide one other
Yeah.
set with the big set, so I don't know where that
It
is.
just makes for fat files.
Great plan to look at. It is, because there's so much detail, and you see things that you would not notice, and you see things you
Absolutely.
never see on, you know.
Yep.
A mini plan.
This is like being on the back of a matchbook cover, as far as I'm concerned.
He's a brat.
I like the rain garden selection of plants, too.
Yeah, thank you.
That's a nice combination with
Yeah,
color.
yeah, they really work well.
Yeah, very nice.
And the thing I like about the rain gardens is the owner of that system knows, it's just, it's like taking care of your yard. You know,
Yeah.
Pick up the trash,
I
rake
know, I
the
like
mulch, do mulch, inspect the health of the
Nice
plants.
setup.
Yeah,
Yep.
you get a nice selection.
Yeah,
Like
thank you.
The flow pattern, the whole thing looks good.
and you're planning on doing some plantings along the driveway to the north,
Correct.
that goes back to the Bach, okay.
Yeah, in the back corner, where the dumpster is now.
Well, no, actually, right here.
Actually,
This
because
is
a little bit more to the
This is the
side.
road that's next to
Yeah, yeah, yep.
New England Farms.
So there's a dirt road in between that,
Yeah.
to go to the bog.
Yeah, that they're gonna put trees along that. So- All right.
Yeah, I'm good.
All right, any other questions? Anyone on the board? No? Okay, are there any butters, neighbors who want to ask any questions or make any comments regarding this? No? All right, very good.
Make a motion to close the hearing for 307 Tremont Street, NOI DEP 126608.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All right, it's been moved and seconded to close the hearing at 307 Tremont, NOI DEP SE 126-608. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? None. Okay, I'll ask for a motion to approve the NOI first for SEP, DEP 126-608.
So moved.
It's been moved,
Second.
and we have a second. It's been moved and seconded to approve the NOI for DEP SE 126-608. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right.
Any opposed? None. And finally,
I'll make a motion that we approve the special permit for 307 Tremont Street, DEP 126608.
variance.
It's, well, they're saying special.
Well, that's a
permit. We're
special,
looking
that's a
for
special permit plan, that's also going to planning board.
Oh, okay.
So I gotta set
So
up
it's
a
a
full
variance.
set.
It's a variance.
Yeah.
For us,
On the
it's a
plan dated July 17th, 2020, as shown.
Second?
We have a second? All right, it's been moved and seconded to approve the variance for 307 Tremont Street, NOI DEP 126608. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? None. Approved unanimously. Brooke, any
Not
order of
really.
conditions outside the norm?
No, I usually add, something about the stormwater management to add that into the order conditions, all this stormwater measures.
I'd like to
and-
see the wetlands post right at the edge of the driveway.
Okay.
The parking lot?
So where the parking lot ends,
For a couple of
we
posts.
have just a couple of wetlands posts,
Do you mind that?
Yeah.
so they know they
Conservation?
can't step
No,
beyond
no,
it.
that's fine. I just, an administrative note, please, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir.
The plan, that's the original date on the plan, but it is revised through October 13th, 2020. Okay?
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, so So just note that
It is October 13th,
it's,
so,
the variances and the NOI are revised for the plans that were drawn on
Oh, it was,
October
okay,
13th,
October
yeah.
13th.
okay, I think I only have that in the order.
No, it's here, it's up in the top corner. See, if I had the big sheet,
Oh, stop it. Oops. I was trying to make it easy.
But when there's so much.
yeah, there it is.
I know. I've learned, all right,
It's
I
over
learned my
here.
lesson. I think I might have that.
Are we all set, Mr. Chairman?
I believe we are. Brooke, is there anything else you'd like to add with the order conditions?
You got the
I don't think
sign
so.
post, right?
Oh, the post? Yeah, how many
post.
you want? Like three or four?
Well, how,
I'll leave it up to you.
October 13th, I do have the right one on the order.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, yeah. we-
2, 3, whatever.
Thank
we
you.
think.
2 or
Okay,
3, yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Good luck.
Yeah, it's been a long road, I'm sure.
You want to send me back that other order condition so I don't lose it?
Yeah, hold on. Can I have that other order of conditions for Ms. Monroe?
I don't want, I don't
I
want
was
to
gonna
lose
hand
it.
them all in at the end, but I'm happy to.
Oh, that's
She
okay.
wants it.
I
She
just want to
loses them,
lose them.
that's why, you know.
Sometimes
She's a little cuckoo, so she loses.
Well, say we had like 20 copies of plans with them.
They ended up in my car. I don't know how that.
And Jim always does it, Jim
Dan
Hortz.
signed?
I'll come over.
Did you sign it, Dan?
No.
Did you abstain or no?
No,
2, 3, no, you did.
No, you signed it.
that's the
I
first
signed
one.
it.
Oh, I thought that was, never
That
mind.
was- no,
I
that
thought
was the
This
first
is-
one.
That's why we're trying to get him back now, so we
Yeah.
keep the flow going.
Okay.
Here comes the
I
next
thought it was that one you were talking
No,
about.
here it comes.
Flow the flow.
Here comes the next one.
All right.
Keep it
ready.
flowing.
Keep them moving.
Okay, so that's, I want,
So do you want to, so you do want.
For the next one coming?
yeah, I want big ones from now
All
on.
right.
I really do.
just, yeah, like I say, ask because the files get so fat and stuff.
well-
I guess I can throw.
But
a
if
file.
they're a no-brainer, I don't mind this size, but when they're this detailed,
You're right,
it's nice to have them big.
yeah.
Keep in mind.
So to,
All right. Our next continued hearing is Lot 8, Indian Street. DEP SC 1260-609.
okey dokey, got big ones on this.
That was interesting. They didn't stay.
All right, here we go. This is lot
Lot
8,
eight.
you said, right?
I'm sorry.
Lot 8, big plans coming up.
Yes. Back. Okay.
You want to, sir?
Let me see. Yeah, this one.
Yeah, this one's a big one. They did,
Oh, yeah.
right, remember that?
That's right,
Because
that's
that was
right,
in the 65.
right.
This is an improvement.
Yeah, so you pulled the driveway over,
Yeah, so,
Yeah,
They moved the house?
moved the house, put the garage on the other side.
Yeah.
Yep,
based on all the comments that we received, we really took a second hard look at this.
pushed it in there.
I think you did a heck of a job here.
This is,
One of the things we did was the septic system was way down in the front row.
Yeah, right.
We managed to pull it all the way back to
Yeah.
the house, so we're not doing anything down by the road. We've pulled the driveway over, out of the 65-foot buffer.
Yep,
The house is pretty much almost all the way out of the 100-foot buffer. The garage is into in that zone between the 100-foot and the 65. And then the septic is also within that zone between the 100 and the 65. But the only thing that's within the 65 would be some minor grading associated with the driveway and grading around the edges of the road, or the edges
Looks
of
like
the
just a
yard.
touch of that reserve area too is in the 65, just a little tiny corner
yeah.
of where the septic is. You have a reserve area?
I think it's just outside, it might be slightly in, but the intent was to keep it
No,
outside.
you did a really good job, and we appreciate it very much.
Well, we appreciate the comments, and, you know, this is my first time before the board, so maybe I was a little ambitious, but,
Just slap you around a couple times.
Well, I would have to say we're fairly consistent, so.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You know, this is a very nice modification, change to this. This is,
Because that was the worst of the two, wasn't it?
yeah, the
Yeah.
other one was pretty
That was
minor.
I gotta say, in my estimation, this
Corner.
is the very best that he can possibly do, short of not doing anything.
Right.
So, I don't think that's why he's before us, so I think he would, but I think this is the best that he can possibly do, and I appreciate your effort.
thank you.
I like it. It's a pleasure, Mr. Chairman.
Does anyone have any comments on this revised plan?
Dan, what do you think?
I was probably, last meeting, I was probably the most abrupt with my opinions on the first version, and I will say I appreciate the efforts put forth on this one. My eyes went directly toward where the septic was, and then I saw that it wasn't there, and then my eyes went back to actually look at what the revision was, and I'm pleased. Yeah,
Thank you.
Some
yeah,
good planning.
thank you.
Are we going to put posts up too, Brooke? Are we,
Not that it's within our it doesn't matter for us, but I was just I was curious how it changed the square footage of the house.
It's the same square footage as before.
It is.
Yeah, we just managed to tuck it in and squeeze it in and arrange it a little bit better so that we could fit it up in that little ridge up on the hill, kind of.
Yeah. We could put some posts.
just with all the hard work that was done here, so
Yeah.
that when someone purchases the home, they'll realize
Right.
where grass clippings
Yeah.
can't go and
So
this type
on
of
that one,
thing.
let me just take a quick look. Can we do it on the 65 pretty much, or can we just?
We can do it on the 65.
Yeah, I do it on the
All the way around.
65, but
Yeah.
I don't think we need 100 posts here, so,
No.
you know,
Well-
it's not,
We need quite a few, because I think it should be from the driveway all the way back. Because
Yeah.
the area of, I would assume that the area within the silt fence is the only area that this homeowner is going to have for lawn, minus actually right across from the garage, where the silt fence is further in from the 65-foot.
Yeah.
So, I just want to make sure that the 65-foot is delineated as much as it can be
Yeah,
throughout the property,
yeah.
so that the homeowner over time doesn't mow a wider swath.
do you have I'm sorry, Sarah.
Go right ahead.
Do you have a dimension, if we were to come down from the street, run down along that initial, out by the well and come back to this corner? Can you just tell me roughly
Like a
what that is in footage? Any quick estimate?
You're talking from
Yes,
this up here?
just like that, and then come back down to the septic. So go up around by the well, then come back down to yep, right there, stop. Roughly.
What's the scale on this? What is
Yeah, I'm
what-
trying to scale it. I'd say probably 300 to there,
So 40,
600 feet maybe?
80.
So then, if he were to put a marker every 30 feet, you'd need 20 posts.
600 feet.
Yeah, this room is 30 feet across, approximately, I would say. Is that about right?
So, is that 30 feet, 50 feet? I mean, they're only little tiny markers, but,
Yeah.
Right,
Right, but
I
they're on
would say
posts.
that,
I mean, there are posts that are visible.
One every 50 feet.
yeah, I would say one every 50 feet.
would you be okay with that?
Sure.
It's
Yeah,
a
the
very
little
small
plaques.
marker.
Just like on a 4x4 post?
Yeah.
That was-
Put it on a 4x4 post.
And we have the little
or,
plaques, the yellow plaques.
Okay.
Just says no activity.
Yeah, you get them downstairs from us, they're 2,500 apiece. You only need, I don't know, 30.
Right, write the check to me. So what, every 50 feet we?
Yeah, every feet.
Yeah, so,
It needs a baker's
Well,
dozen.
we haven't got to the order of conditions yet, because we haven't closed the hearing.
Oh,
so
okay, whoops.
This is, we're still in discussion, but that was a
Okay.
good idea.
the driveway's in a great position, but it's still all within the 100 feet, and it's fairly long. So I'd like to see if we can keep that impervious, not paved.
Yeah. Did
What are
they,
you
was that
planning
to
on
be
doing with
paved,
the
or
driveway?
was that to be gravel?
The plan, I believe, was to pave it.
Can you go with a
How about the process?
reprocess, something
Yeah,
that's a,
don't they use that reprocessed stuff, it's a little more permeable than?
Like recycled asphalt
Yeah.
material.
yeah, I mean, over time, it does kind of get pervious, but it's a lot of area very close to the 65, and certainly all within the 100 that would be paved. And I don't know what your drainage plan would be for that driveway, and which way all that would
And
head.
there's no place to replicate.
First one says gravel.
So I'm just, my feeling is that it would be better served for the wetlands if most, if not all, of the water that lands on the driveway gets soaked into the soil there, as opposed to running off to the side.
Yeah, so we have the driveway super elevated, so it pitches towards, away from the wetland on this side.
Oh, so it goes towards the other property line?
Yeah, it's kind of, we're kind of in a ridge, or kind of in a low spot here, so we've got to build that up, so we're going to pitch it off to the side, away from the wetland.
Okay. I still have the opinion that if it could be reprocessed, that would be better. What's anyone else's opinion
I agree.
Agree.
on the board? Are there any other,
After
Question?
a year and a half, the owner will then probably have it blacked
well,
I know. Mine was gravel.
It does happen.
Well, you can put
When
down
you
a
get
fine
gravel.
enough gravel and roll it out, it'll be a solid surface. I mean, I like a pavement, but that's, because I'm living with a dirt driveway. When you live with a dirt
I
driveway,
live with the dirt, well, there's a reprocess on most of mine coming in from,
mine is too, and I could keep having to put it back year after year after year, because it
Because does it wear away, the
It wears-
reprocessed stuff?
yeah,
Yeah,
sinks.
but I mean, it's a driveway, it's not,
right,
But it doesn't hold water, so.
right.
right, the water goes right through it.
Mhm.
So I think that we'd like to see that, at least as part of the order of conditions, so that until such time as the COC is issued, that it has to stay that way.
Right, okay.
you know?
I would, I wouldn't mind if we let them asphalt an apron, so you're not dragging that asphalt and the dirt out into the street, you're not coming in off the street. At least give him something to get into his driveway before he
20-foot
gets-
apron?
Yeah, if you
Down
want to put an apron.
on the street end?
Yeah, on the street end,
That would be fine, and I
just to
would
make it a little bit easier for the homeowner.
I wouldn't be
Good idea.
averse to a small concrete apron in front of the garage slab either.
Yeah, and if you wanted, that's another good point. Because nobody wants to have dirt right up until the
Right.
point they pull into their garage, so you could put a concrete apron out in front of the garage. But I think he's right as far as the long driveway goes. We try to keep the area as permeable as possible. We do it even with people with swimming pools.
Right,
And that's an awful lot of asphalt.
it's a long driveway. All right, any other comments, questions
Yeah, it's
from
reprocessed.
the board? No?
Sounds good.
All right, so I'll accept a motion to close the hearing.
So move?
A second.
All right, it's been moved and seconded to close the hearing on Lot 8 Indian Street, NOI DEP, just DEP SC 126-609. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? None? I will accept a motion to approve the NOI for the same.
So moved.
So moved.
Second.
Second, and we have a second with Mr. Badger. So it's been moved and seconded to approve the NOI for SE, DEP SE 126-609 with conditions set forth by the agent. And thirdly, I'll accept a motion
We
for,
need to vote on it.
oh, yes, I'm sorry. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? None.
Now I'll make the motion for the variance, make it easy for you.
Okay, thank you.
For Lot 8 Indian Street, DEP SE 126-609, as drawn on the plan of
Make sure you get the revised date.
9/15/2020, is that the correct date?
No, there should be a revision date of.
Should be up above.
1029.
10/29.
Yeah.
10/29/2020, thank
Well, there
you.
goes your big plan excuse.
I guess so. Well, this one is.
I know, you couldn't
Yeah,
see.
you're absolutely right. With the following conditions, that the,
Sure, you get
Driveway.
the driveway be a permeable surface, but you will be allowed a concrete or a solid surface in front of the garage. And what do you think, Jim, for the first 20 feet of the driveway coming in off the
20
street?
feet, blacktop, yeah.
Yeah.
First 20 feet.
And that the wetlands post be located along the 65 every 50 feet.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All right, it's been moved and seconded to do what Mr. Jermaine just said. All those in favor, say aye. Aye.
All right?
Any opposed? Hearing none? This one is approved. Moving on.
Okay,
Lot 9.
here we go. Did I get the other order back? No. You have the cannabis
It's
order?
here. It's here.
Cannabis
So
orders
I don't
right
lose
here.
track. Thank you. Trying to be organized like Peg.
I get that, thank you.
I learned that from Peg.
Where's the plans for this lot?
Yep. Lot 9, right? Yes, sir.
Reaching for the pen.
All right,
Lot 9.
we'll do the NOI for the continued hearing for Lot 9 on Indian Street. And if I recall, we had very little.
Problem with this?
Yeah, this one, I think, there wasn't as many issues.
You better get the hard one out of the way.
What did you ask me on this? Just to shift the house a little bit?
On what?
On this one?
I don't think we have
Well, you did, you revised it somehow.
Did you revise this plan?
Yeah,
That
just,
is revised a little bit, not much.
just some minor stuff.
Yeah.
We pulled the house completely out of the 100-foot buffer. We managed to pull it out and do some, adjust the grading a little bit, so we made that work. And the only other thing was we had to move the well.
Yep.
So we had to put it down in the corner, some minor temporary disturbance just to stick the well in. That would be in the 65-foot buffer. But everything else is outside.
I think this looks
An
great.
improvement, definitely, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I really do.
yeah, everything's,
it's getting better.
Yeah?
To revise the, these on these.
What do you want to do, the same thing with that driveway, Sabri?
That would be fine.
It's a much shorter driveway.
it's shorter, it's farther away from the wetlands.
Yeah.
To me, it doesn't have the same effect as the other one did.
Yeah.
Which was hugging the 65 foot.
Yep.
Right, so if you want to go with a totally asphalted,
Yeah, I don't see an
Solid.
issue
Yeah.
with the asphalt here.
Same thing, just a couple of, maybe one or two wetlands posts right there at the 65, and then something down near where the cut-in is for the well.
Actually, I don't, the 65 is not on,
Right here. It's on the very edge.
oh, okay,
In the corner, right?
okay. So one or two right to the.
Yeah, just one or two right there, maybe one at where the well cut-in is.
All right, to the southwest of the driveway,
Yeah,
and then where the well's cut in.
that's it.
All right, well,
What do you think, the backyard maybe, just so they realize?
yeah, a couple along the backyard,
That's a pretty good hill, though. I don't imagine they're gonna be
That's a
playing up
good
there
point,
much.
yeah, it is,
It's a
yeah.
pretty good slope.
But just so grass clippings don't go over it.
Right here.
Oh, oh, yeah,
They're saying, Peg's saying maybe across the back,
Oh,
but
okay.
Just a couple.
I think
so
just
they
one
realize
here, just
it's
to
not
let
a
them know,
dumping
Yeah.
ground.
one right here, but
Actually,
You think it's safe?
oh, that's the proposed tree line, so, okay. All right, so you're proposing just an open backyard
That one's a good size yard.
adjacent to the well, okay. Everything else remains.
That one has a pretty big yard.
It is, they got a
you
nice
can throw a
yard.
couple across the back.
Yeah, just a few,
Yeah, they may be hidden by the tree line, but
but
that's okay.
Just,
Right.
just so it's not an arbitrary number, though, let's just stick to the 50, every 50 feet.
Mm,
okay.
Okay,
That way,
so and
Keep
it'll
it
end up being.
there's no guessing, yeah.
But only where the 65 is
Oh, yeah, just-
touching the land pretty much, not,
Right.
well,
Right,
not where it makes that big dipsy doodle in. We don't need to put them along there, but maybe one here and then one here and then 50 feet across the back.
yeah.
yeah, I would say
So you're gonna need like 4.
Yeah, well, yeah, because this is the property.
Right. But you're way out, so you're not gonna put them
Right.
here, right?
No,
Yeah, I'm
four,
counting,
I'm fine with 4.
I'm counting 4, yeah.
I'm fine with 4. 2 across
You
the
know where
back
we're talking,
Yeah.
Brooke?
Yeah. so
and 2
close.
were the,
One here.
Yeah,
Like one here,
One by-
and
and
then
then a couple
every
across the
50
back.
feet here,
Yeah,
which
where
is
the-
2 more, so that'd be 4.
2 semicircles where the 65-foot hits the limit of work,
Yep.
and then the 2 across the back.
Exactly.
Other than that, this looks good too.
All right.
Yeah.
On here.
No opposed? Motion to close the hearing for Lot 9 Indian Street, SE 126610.
Second,
All right, it's been moved and second to close the hearing on Lot 9 Indian Street, 126-610. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? None?
Motion to approve the NOI for Lot 9 Indian Street, DEP SE 126610 on the plan revision date 10/29/20.
Second?
second,
It's been moved and seconded to approve the NOI for SE 126-610 with conditions put forth by the
Yep,
the conservation agent.
At the post, yep.
Um,
Erosion controls.
And now, I will, all those in favor? We say aye.
Aye?
None opposed? Any opposed? None opposed. All right, and finally, I'll accept a motion to grant the variance for DEP SE 1269 Indian Street.
okay, so move,
All right?
Second.
All right, it's been moved and seconded to grant the variance from the Carver Wetlands Protection Bylaw. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? None? All right, Brooke, order conditions are the
Yep,
standard
erosion
plus the
controls, yep, we'll add the posts,
the
yep,
4 posts.
yep,
We have nothing else, the driveway's fine,
driveway's fine. right?
whatever,
Yeah, you can do what you want with that
Yep.
driveway.
so I think we're all set.
Great, thank you very much.
Thank you,
Thank
it was a very good job.
yes, thank you.
That's great solutions in both cases.
Thanks again
Thank
for
you.
that first plan. You did a nice job
Yeah,
on
we're
that,
impressed.
Lot 8.
All right, I'll remember that next time.
Wiggle that around, just stuff it in there.
You know what it says? It says that you're willing to work with us. We're not trying to be the tough guys, but if there was absolutely no way you could move anything,
Foliage that's
then
cutting.
it makes, we look at it a little differently. But when we see that there's a way to move something and you're willing to do it, then we give on the other side. You know what I mean?
Sure, no, I understand. I
So that's
appreciate
just,
you.
that's the way it works.
Great, thank you very much.
Thank you. That's lot 9, right?
That's Lot 8.
That was 8.
Lot 9's going around the corner a little.
Okey-dokey.
We doing the end right?
Nope, continue till the 18th.
Continue.
I think it's on the agenda as being the 18th.
It says that. I just was asking,
Yep,
in
no.
case God knows.
I don't know what they're gonna do with that.
So that's it.
Yep.
All right,
Quick question, as it pertains for future NOIs for driveways and so forth. We're gonna have a sort of a cap on distance before we suggest alternative materials than asphalt.
I
If
think
it's,
it really
if it's,
depends on the pitch and where the water's heading to.
Yeah.
the pitch
I mean,
and
if
also
it-
within the 100.
And within the
Yeah, but if you were
65, yeah.
heading up a hill, for instance, let's say that this was in the wetlands area and,
Yeah.
and we had a little bit of a hill going to the house, so if they were to make that asphalt, any water that hit that would run out onto the street or run into, you know, the entry of the driveway and then go into a catch basin. That's what the catch basin is there for. So I think each one has gotta be based on the drawing and the
It's
topography.
on its own merits.
Yeah,
I
I
think it's a
think each
case by
one's on
case
its own
basis, you know, depending on its location, in relationship to the wetlands. Like the first one that we looked at, 8, it was right on the 65-foot line, and it
Sure.
was
Right.
long.
And it was a long driveway.
Right, the other one was almost at the 100-foot and half the distance, so it's less intrusive. And,
And I'm honestly and truly, and I haul this stuff, and I'm not convinced that ground asphalt is the best thing you can possibly get and put down. I mean, it's nice, you roll it out and it's solid, but as soon as you touch it, it hit the brakes hard on it, you kick it all up, you can't snow blow it, you can't plow it. You know,
So it
say what
erodes.
you want about it, but I'll take a good compacted gravel any day of the week, unless you can put the asphalt down in the spring, roll it out and don't touch it, don't drive on it or anything through the heat of the summer, then you might have a solid kind of driveway, but then it defeats that purpose, because once it goes back a little bit, and it will melt back in, then you end up with an impermeable surface.
I remember Brian Grady was talking to us about that.
Yeah, it's
With
not
that-
the best thing
At
in the
that
world.
bog road that he wanted to resurface, and
Right.
he was saying, well, you know, it almost makes sometimes more sense to pave it, because then you're not getting all the erosion from the gravel, you know.
The
once
reason
up.
everybody loves it is because you can put it down 3, 4, 5, 6 inches deep, and you can drive on it right away. Whether you
Right.
compact it or not, you can
What, the
drive on it
reprocess?
right away.
yeah, the reprocess.
Oh, the reprocess.
You know, and it's a perfect solution as opposed to putting in like a sandy fill or something like, Jim understands what I'm saying, a sandy fill or something like that, then unless you pack it, you'll sink out of sight when you hit it. But you can put down ground asphalt, and it's like putting down a crushed concrete.
Yeah.
You drive on it immediately,
What
you know?
did?
And I like crushed concrete better than I like asphalt.
Is that just as
brand
easy
new.
to get?
Yeah.
Crushed concrete?
Bought it in August.
Depends
What did they do,
on
just crow?
who's producing it. It's like everything else, you know, you got a few people that have ground asphalt, but they're hoarding it. You couldn't buy asphalt from Edwards
Get
if
it?
life depended on it, because he's using it to mix in with new asphalt.
Maybe the connection or something, maybe? Did you run over the thing when you got up?
You know, there's
All right.
a few of the big guys that have it. I bought 1 truckload of it out in Milford, and it was more money than I wanted to spend. By a lot.
Yeah.
Interesting.
All right, so, a motion to adjourn, please?
I would say.
Oops. Second?
Second,
All
And
right,
I got
move.
one more order?
one
Fine.
more order to be signed?
We,
I passed it down, didn't I?
Yeah,
Oh, sorry.
all right. It's been
Dan, you're
moved-
recording
It's been
it.
moved and seconded to adjourn. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? None. We're out.